Hey everybody, I wanted to let's talk a little bit about the Smith & Wesson Sigma today and clear up some misconceptions about this gun a little bit. This gun is actually what I believe to be one of the best handguns for the money that you can buy. A lot of people badmouth these things, and I used to myself. This is a 9mm you see right here, and before I had this 9mm, a few years back I actually got my hands on a 40 cal. And I believe I bought it brand new at Bass Pro Shop. Got it for, I think, brand new for $300, $279, something like that. And it was a decent gun, but the trigger was horrible. And I wasn't too much into tinkering with guns as far as the internals of them back then. So basically what ended up happening was I sold it and moved on to something, something more like that. But anyway, I had the chance to run across this one, or I ran across this one and had the chance to buy it. And well, I got about $180 in this one, so I wasn't even going to pass that up with having a horrible trigger. So I learned a few ways to clean that trigger up, and I'm going to make a separate video on that soon, on actually going into the gun and fixing the trigger. And what you'll actually end up with is a trigger pull that's like a really smooth double action revolver. Pulling the trigger on a double action revolver with the hammer down and going all the way through till it drops the hammer. You're not going to get something quite as crisp as this Glock, and you're certainly not going to get that short reset that the Glock trigger has. But again, this is all relative. How much does a Glock cost? Even a used one. How much does one of these cost brand new? And if you just want something to play with, don't get one brand new. There's plenty of them out there used. You should have if you decide you wanted one of these, you should have no trouble getting one for $250 or less. Like I said, I've got about 180 in this one with 3 mags. Okay, the guy went out and bought an extra mag for it. Now the mags are kind of pricey. They're going to run you anywhere from $35 to $45 a pop. So the fact that he had that extra mag, that kind of sweetened the deal for me, because I'll never buy another mag for this gun. But while I've got the gun right here in front of the camera, and I'm talking about the crappy trigger that comes on these things out of the box, I want to show y'all something real quick. Now, like I said, later I'm going to do a video and go into the gun and pull the internals out and show y'all how to fix this trigger with no money spent. You don't have to buy no parts or nothing. It's real quick and easy, actually. But while I've got it right here, I want to show y'all something. The previous owner of this one thought the trigger sucked too. And what he did, and I don't know if you can see this very well, but he actually took a file right here and he filed it down right there and just screwed it all up. Now right now this particular gun for me is a range gun, plinking. That's it. I wouldn't carry this gun, I wouldn't trust my life to it, and that right there is why. The way this part comes out of the factory, it comes to an angle, a sharp angle right here. And he was trying to lighten the trigger pull, make the trigger better, whatever he thought he might be trying to do. And he took a file and filed that down right there. I'm trying to get this to where y'all can see it real good. But you can see how he flattened that right there. You don't ever want to change the angles of a part from the factory. The angles that anything inside of any gun come from, the way the angles are set on the part, you do not want to change that part. When a gunsmith goes into a firearm and he starts filing stuff or stoning parts. He's not changing the angles. He's smoothing out and maybe taking a little bit of metal away, but he's never changing an angle. And that right there is why I will not carry this gun for defense. Now, I will say that even with that, this gun has been 100% at the range. 100%, but just because of that, it's a mental thing, really. I won't carry it for defense. But what I am going to do is I'm going to order a new firing pin from Smith & Wesson for all about $3 or $4 and put it in there. And then I will take a stone to it and take a little metal off and smooth it out, but I won't change that angle. Now, one of the things about these guns is obviously you're not going to have as much stuff out there as, say, a Glock would have. You know, you're not going to have the availability of aftermarket parts. Well, the biggest thing with me is if I was to carry this for defense, is I want a good set of night sights on it. So I did a little research on that. And looky here. Mepro lights, $84.99 in October of 2011 from Midway.com. It's only got 2 reviews on the sites, but it's a 5-star, two 5-star reviews. So you know what? 2 people like them, and I'll tell you straight up, I've had every night sight under the sun. The Mepros, they do the best in my opinion. So that's that. And other people say, well, the rail on it, you can't do nothing with the rail. Problem solved. Look at that. A laser light rail adapter. $9.99. Midway.com. Attaches to the front of your gun on that gaudy so-called rail system that Smith & Wesson puts on there. And you get, a rail that you can actually use stuff on. So that's pretty cool. That covers my 2 biggest concerns, is that rail, which, you know what, on that particular gun, I might not ever use the rail, but if I wanted to, I know I can spend $10 and use it. And then the night sights. Very little time and effort, you can clean that trigger up real nice to a very nice, like I said, it feels like a double action revolver. And that's real easy to do, and you don't have to spend any money to do it. And I looked at some holsters earlier. There's more than plenty, so a nice selection of holsters, from anywhere from $15 to about as high as you want to spend. I even seen a laser that fits on there. Forget the company that makes it, but for about $180 you can have a laser that will fit to the rail without this adapter, just the way it is from the factory. It'll fit right there, and it also attaches to the front of your trigger guard. Nice clean look right there. I'm not really interested in that either, but I figured I'd tell you all about it. But yeah, if you're strapped for cash and you want a handgun, go for it. People that badmouth this handgun most of them don't have any sense. It's a freaking Glock, okay? There, I said it. It's a Glock with a double action revolver trigger. That's all there is to it. And if you get one of these and you're at the range, or you're showing it to your buddies or whatever, and they want to badmouth it, ask them if they own a High Point. Later.